It's a long day in Hanover once again, but I'm sure that the next slot will be really an entertaining one for all of you. To give it a start and to make sure that you know what Manufacturing X is about, we'd like to welcome our first guest on stage, who is a fellow at Siemens, and I know him for a couple of years, and I know that he's really active in manufacturing industry 4.0, and he will give us some short keynote to make sure that we have all a brilliant start. So please welcome Thomas Hahn.
I hope you can hear me, I think, perfectly. And it's an honor for me to make a short introduction before we start a little panel, the panelists you see here. And like you said before, Manufacturing X, I was yesterday also with Minister Habeck a meeting. And as you said in the website, he also announced this. But Manufacturing X is, let's say, the initiative. And you have different projects under the umbrella of the initiative. So it could be a Catena X, automotive supply chain, could be a Factory X, where you're going down to the shop floor, to the machine tool building industry, could be a Aerospace X, we are speaking about aerospace. We have some friends from France here, Data for Industry is a project from France, for example, and. When you want to inform more in detail, just go to the other side and you see it. Manufacturing X is, let's say, also a little bit to make it quite tangible what is behind this. And I give you one easy example. When you're speaking about a CO2 footprint, and you know, coming from a company which has factories, you see on your own shop floor only 10% of the CO2 footprint. Depending what you are producing, maybe it's 20%, but not more. So meaning the remaining part is in the up and downstream. So you have to have a data transparency along the complete chain. That's where Catena X is looking for the tier N bis tier 1 automotive AM until recycling of the car, where we're looking in Factory X down to the shop floor, how this is running, and. Only to give you a feeling on one example, you can speak about traceability, you can speak about new business opportunities, manufacturing as a service, and, but only why we are doing this. And this is the theme of this panel, we have to do it international. Because as you can imagine, Manufacturing X and manufacturing processes are international. So, and that's the reason why you see here the colleagues from the US, from Japan, from France, from Germany, from Spain, and you can extend the list, but we have not enough chairs here on stage, where we are speaking with Korea, don't ask me what other countries around the world. Also meaning we have to set it somehow up in an international topic, and as mentioned before, the manufacturing is an initiative, and you have several, somebody have to click. Now, yeah. Several, it was my fault, pushed the wrong button. We have several, projects targeting the different verticals in this area. What is the challenge behind this? I said this before with the example of the CO2 footprint is, sharing, and this is the middle topic, sharing information across value chain along the network, how you are doing this, what are the description of the data you are sharing, what asset is behind, which are represented by the data, and you're now smelling immediately why this international cooperation is needed when you have really the international supply chains. Then you have on the left side, we are looking here also which infrastructure you're having. You have maybe when you're above a plant, you're looking how you optimize the different shop floor. That's where we typically do in a cloud solution, or when you're going down into the plant, into the machines, and you're coming more to the edge system, meaning also to have the complete chain from the cloud edge continuum. By the way, also a nice showcase on the other side of the booth. And on the other side, when you're going to the right side of the slide, I mentioned this before, for this case you have to harmonize some kind of standards, you have to learn from each other what have to be done, and you really should drive this to have it, let's say, interoperable. And that's all about what we are targeting in the so-called International Manufacturing X Council, where we're looking around what is ongoing, what are the ideas about data economy, maybe what are side constraints from the infrastructure, also regarding local regulation or standards. We are looking how we can define a joint framework to make exactly what I mentioned before, this interoperability, covering, for example, the CO2 footprint example, and. We can proceed and longer, but this is exactly what we are discussing later, a little bit in the panel about where we can dig into the detail. I mentioned before, we have representatives from 5 countries, just forgot to count me, 5 countries, but as you know, we have more. We have with Canada as a corporation, we have from US, John with us, we have from France, Jean-Pascal with us. Our moderator is from Spain, is Oscar, and last but not least, we have from Japan, Nakashima-san on stage to explain it. But you see here, this is a joint endeavor, and why we are doing this, like I said before, manufacturing, international needs, we have to think about how we are doing this. And only to give you a feeling what journey we have done up to now together, you see it in the bottom line. First meeting was 9 months ago, when I calculated correctly, in July last year we met the first time. Then we had intentionally, I have to say, speaking from Germany and speaking out of Hannover, we intentionally set it up, make the inauguration in Japan. Many thanks, Nakashima-san, that we were able to hijack, so to say, your symposium. We have met in Paris 2 months ago. We are now, after this session, again meeting here in Hanover, and we are planning the next event, on the next synchronization in autumn, somewhere on the world where we have to speak about it. Because, you know, targeting this, we have to look what is needed. We have some kind of vision where to go, and we have to work. And this is, let's say, the start where we are, or the point where we start working to get it done, as said before, to achieve this. And now it's a pleasure to hand over. So my job is done. Oscar, you can go on stage. No, I have to stay here and take over some moderation. And as said before, also the other colleagues are with us.
Thank you, Thomas. And I think this was the perfect introduction to the session that we have to implement. Today we have a set of very distinguished panelists joining me today. Thomas Hahn has already been introduced, but with me today as well we have John Dick from SESMI, CEO of a lighthouse initiative in the US, and the main stakeholder driving the initiatives of the US stakeholders in the Manufacturing X internationalization scope. From Japan, we have Nakashima-san, Managing Director of the Robot Revolution Initiative, and again, connecting and driving the activities from Japan in the international arena. And probably some of you already participated in the leaders' dialogue yesterday, and you could already see some representatives from Schneider, from the French government, expressing the commitment and the strong belief in this type of initiative, started from manufacturing, driven by industry, and the last speaker, but also very relevant, we have Jean-Pascal Ruiz from Schneider Electric. I think Thomas did a great job in setting up the general scene, but probably also to go a little bit deeper into the initiative itself, I would like to invite the speakers probably to share with the audience what is really the motivation, status of the initiative in the different areas of the world that are really engaged in this international endeavor. I would like to start maybe with you, John. What is the feeling and the situation in the US?
Thank you. It's an honor to be here. I would say that the last decade of sort of the fourth industrial revolution, smart manufacturing, has been marked by an increasing awareness of the value of data in the plant and in the enterprise. And while that's still very much a journey that we're on, I think the idea that we're working on together here is sort of the focus for the next decade, and that is the value of data in the supply chain and how we monetize data in much more effective ways. And so I think that's the journey we're on together. That's the journey we're on in the US, and I think that's not a US-centric thing. I think one of the slides that Thomas had on here and was just speaking to is that this is not something any one company can do. This is not something any one initiative can do or any one nation can do. And that's why we're here working on this together to drive these activities forward in a way that's consistent, that doesn't allow us to build any more silos, even at a national level. So, yeah, I'll leave it at that.
Thank you, John, for sharing the view of the US on this matter. We move from the west of the world to the east of the world with Nakashima-san, and I wonder what is really the motivation. Are similar feelings and similar drivers in the situation in Japan?
Yes, regarding the manufacturing, of course, the Japanese people believe that the Japanese are very good at manufacturing things. However, lots of the circumstance, global economy or climate change or aging society, many different things, the challenges coming to manufacturing, and I think the understanding of the situation or challenge are all the common in the world, and we have been communicating with European folks and also United States, discussing what is the best approach for that. And I think the data exchange, the sovereign data exchange, is one of the key items or enabler. And in Japan, in terms of manufacturing, we have three major activities. One is the Data EX, so-called Data EX project, who is mainly building the foundation or principle of the data communication. And the other one is Uranos ecosystem, who is, at this moment, they are focusing on the battery passport, how to deal with the battery passport thing. And also, third one is RRI organization, which is which consists of the many manufacturing company and robotics companies for what is a good utilization of the data space activities. And we are now communicating with each other and trying to find or identify the common language among them. And in the future, probably, of course, it will happen in the international. So I think the international manufacturing X community is really important for us.
Thank you, Nakashima-san. I see this thread of collaboration and understanding just already very quickly emerging from the initiative, and I would like maybe to close this first set of questions to set up the scene with Jean-Pascal Ruiz. Schneider Electric is co-leading the initiative of the Council in France with the colleagues from SEA. So and also Schneider is as a company is really committed from this digital and green transition in the manufacturing field. So from your perspective of a global company that is leading the way to the French industry, what do you perceive as motivation and status in your country?
I think in manufacturing sector overall, I think we are living a fantastic time. Really a fantastic time, because industry is back at the heart of major public policy program, societal, link are clearly linked between, let's say, people and the industry, and I think this is really fantastic. And we clearly see the mindset is changing. The mindset is really changing. We're really moving from an ecosystem toward really an ecosystem. Every company really understands that the next level of productivity, efficiency, resource, and to reach sustainability target, you need to cooperate. Collaboration is at the key of every, I would say, advanced status on manufacturing and people that want to move ahead in the next generation of manufacturing. And what is key here is when you start to think about all that, quickly you come up to the conclusion that digitization is at the core of this transformation, and this is a way to drive both productivity and sustainability at the same time, in the same transformation. And this is key. And what we do in Manufacturing X is to take it not at every single company, but really to take it as an ecosystem, at an ecosystem level. And I think this is great. As I'm from Schneider Electric, but I represent the activity around Manufacturing X in France. And we are very happy to have started from a year ago, similar timing discussion with many companies that are interested by this topic. And it's driving a lot of discussion and new ideas and new innovation. There is new idea to bring. So it's really all the story international manufacturing is really helping companies to innovate and to think things very differently. And secondly, with Schneider Electric, we are as well we are in a consortium to make data for Industry X in order to have a skin in the game and in order to help to implement and really discuss not only about theory, but really down to really application and deployment. So this is the activity which are going in France, and we are fully committed to support international Manufacturing X, and and the community in France is very excited about this program.
Thank you, Jean-Pascal, and I think it is a very encouraging message to see such practical approach, industry-driven, that I'm sure it will help to move things forward. Thomas, you had the pleasure to introduce the overall initiative, but maybe you want to add something related to your feeling from the German side of the initiative.
Yes, I can make it. When you're speaking, and like you said before, and you raised also the topic, nobody can do it alone. As company would like to do it alone, but the reality is different. But nevertheless, we have to cooperate. We have to build up this ecosystem with a C, not with a G, that we have really to drive forward. And from the German perspective, as you know, and when you're looking also on this theme of the booth here, scaling together international. I think that's really what we have to do, and that's the reason why we are also really here, sitting here together and discussing together, and not only discussing, working together. I think that's a topic. When you're looking at the German perspective, we have this somehow under the umbrella of the Platform Industry 4.0 initiative, which is hosted from the two governments. That's the reason why also Minister Habeck and also representatives from the government from education and research taking care for this and hosting this. But the important thing in the background is an ecosystem of companies and research institute, industry association, because scale you have to reach out to the broader bunch of topic. And the project, I mentioned this, but the top projects are, let's say, Catena X, Factory X, Aerospace X, which are running. Catena X is headed from BMW, and several companies, like my company, is participating. Factory X is headed from Siemens together with SAP, looking more to the shop floor. Aerospace X is headed from Airbus, and others are meaning, and I also explained this a little bit in a different way before, these initiatives or these data-related initiatives popping up like mushroom out of the earth, because we have a need in doing this for optimization, so creating processes, and to look to new business opportunities.
Thank you, Thomas. And I would like to catch a little bit on this opportunity and exciting times that we are living now in the transformation of industry. And it is obvious with such big names from the industry and such representative regions around the world really backing up and joining forces in this initiative. I wonder, Jean-Pascal, Ruiz, from your perspective, what is the main challenges that all these big companies, all these regions in the world should initially face together if we really want to make data work at this global level as we intend to do?
Yeah, well, there is I mean, if it was easy, it would have already been done, yeah? But I think what's very interesting is to see the ways that companies come together and start to think about use case within an ecosystem. And I don't know if it is challenging or the easiest part. I don't know, but this is what people are working today, is to say, okay, let's sit around the table from a sectorial activity, from a specific industry, and say, okay, is there some value in we are all part of the same value chain? Is there some value if we start to share some data? What are the use cases we start to build together in order to deliver more value for end customer, for other sector, or together within the ecosystem? And this is really a mindset shift to think this way. It's so easy to go to your shop floor and you see what's wrong, or you see what are the improvements, and you master, you have your own decision in your own organization. But to have this type of collaboration and think about use cases, so it's one of the hurdles. And then there is, it's not a hurdle, I think it's a challenge, but it's a positive challenge in the discussion, right? And then, of course, there is all the infrastructure, the interoperability of the data, but this you can count on us, I would say, International Manufacturing X, to solve this type of issue. I think we are moving fast into implementing technologies that allow data interoperability really, really fast, because we see that there is a big demand and big opportunities behind. I think what every sector should do is start to sit together in the sector. We have seen that. We are starting that in France, for example, with some sector. And you see people to start, okay, this is my issue, and this is how we can solve things together in my sector of activity in the ecosystem. And this is great discussion that should start now at every level in every sector of the industry.
It is very interesting to see this challenge of how you bring common interest, agendas, and priorities together. And I think I could do nothing more than agree with that challenge. What I wonder, Thomas, from your perspective, I think Jean-Pascal was raising this issue of bringing common use cases that can drive this type or facilitate this type of collaboration. How do you think we can really bring this collaboration to life, and what type of role these common use cases you think they could play in facilitating the collaboration? We have to pioneer, because this has not been done at this scale before.
Yeah, and Jean-Pascal, you raised this very good. We are trying to make really some kind of use case oriented approach, that we're not in an academic area. Sorry for the people from academia, we need them, no doubt about it, but use cases or application to create impact, for us all, so to say, is key. This is the first topic which we learned from different projects, really to have a use case. Second topic which we not have to forget is we have different projects running, and you can imagine that, sorry when I raise against the German example, Catena X is focused horizontal on a supply chain, tier 1, tier 2, tier N to tier 1, automotive ALM. Factory is going down to the shop floor, and then I'll give a third example. When you're speaking about energy handling, is also a topic where you have some kind of information. So meaning also this interoperability aspect between the different verticals are becoming, let's say, more and more relevant. I mentioned energy because you can imagine when you have some kind of energy consumption production, it's maybe better to align how's the need, how's the availability of energy now, which you get out of this data system from energy. Also to touch another topic, which is, let's say, on the side when you're speaking about manufacturing. But to have this interoperable, that's the topic. But Jean-Pascal, do you?
Yeah, fully agree. And I think what's worth to mention is maybe at the beginning, there could, maybe you might think that about data space like a common data space where everything is putting in, etc. This is not how the thing is going to be deployed. Things are going to be deployed in a very pragmatic way to solve sectorial issue with each sector. So there are going to be several data space even within manufacturing. And then all the question, and this is why the International Manufacturing X is how do we make sure that there is a kind of interoperability from all those different use cases, not only from sectorial view, but as well from geographic view, because there could be different regulation, etc. So all this is part of the discussion we are working on. So several data space solving manufacturing issue, big work we are doing into interoperability and making sure that all the system can work together.
And maybe I have seen the lady in the first row who had a logo regarding the AAS, the Asset Administration Shell, which are somehow covering for different verticals. Think about this, the life cycle for product and production. Or other example is regarding the battery passport. You know, when you're speaking about battery and automotive OEM, then you speak about the production of the battery or the recycling of the battery. Also to have some exchange besides this. This is, let's say, very concrete topics where we have to work together on.
And I see this interoperability, and I think, Jean-Pascal, you were very right in highlighting the fact that we are not aiming for one data space to rule them all, but really different initiatives driven by business interest and with real value. We have heard from Nakashima-san that Japan is actually quite active in putting up this type of initiative. So I wonder, from your perspective, when we have all these different initiatives in France, Germany, US, Japan, Spain, and many other countries, Italy, that are already engaging in this, what do you think is the role that the Council itself could play in this context?
Yeah, I think it is natural to have the many different the entity, and also they have each their own idea or approach. But to have the interoperability, some kind of the common language or some kind of the common understanding is necessary, and it is really important to have the place to discuss or exchange the opinion. So that from that perspective, we really expect the big role in the International Manufacturing X, and also in Japan, the RRI is trying to formalize the communication or kind of hub communicating the related entity in Japan, so that we can exchange, and also maybe introduce the European or US approach or example, so that we got, okay, this is new idea or this approach we can take. So I think it is, at this moment, it is very important to have the place or location to gather and exchange the thinking or opinions. Thank you.
And before we approach the end of the panel, I think from history we know that Europeans, we are great in putting ideas forward, but the people in the US is great at bringing value out of those ideas. So I wonder if, John, maybe from your background in the US, you can discuss a little bit how an initiative like this that is really putting a lot of interest and agendas on the table, facilitating this place for agreement, for setting up some very critical and important collaboration. From a value perspective, how you perceive these type of activities and how you think this could really bring value to the industry?
Yeah, I think that's a great way to tee up the conversation. I think what we don't have in the U.S. as much is the regulations that drive some of these activities, and sometimes some people would wish that we have more, but we have some of that. Other people would say, you know what, we'll let the value discussion drive these kinds of investments. And so regardless of where you stand, that is where we are in the U.S. We just don't have that as kind of a major driver. But what that does foster by industry is what are the capabilities that are most front of mind, if you will, for a manufacturing community to say, I want to invest in solving this problem, and where is the horizon? Is the enterprise? Is it the supply chain? Where are the communities that I can engage with to advance my interests? And so those are the conversations that we're having with a group of pharmaceutical enterprises, with a group of automotive enterprises, with a group of aerospace and defense enterprises, with a group of consumer goods, food and bev enterprises, with a group of semiconductor enterprises, all focused on their unique industry-centric problems, but we believe all enabled by the same set of policies, the same trust, the same identity issues, the same frameworks that we are all discussing here, or beginning to create a framework for at International Manufacturing X. And so that's what I'm excited about. That's the opportunity we have in the US to both learn from the lessons that have been learned already here in other communities, manufacturing regions, but also contribute, right? So there are important things that we can bring from a value proposition to the conversation in this body. So I agree with what you said, Nakashima-san. I think that's a great way to tee it up, but I do think that those individual, like you've teed up here in the Platform Industry 4.0 booth, right? The Aerospace X and the Factory X and so on and so forth. The capabilities undergirding each one of these initiatives are, for the most part, common and consistent. And those do not vary from country to country. Those will not vary from enterprise to enterprise. We have issues to work through, but I think at a macro level, these are vital issues and capabilities that we will build together.
Thank you, John. I'm looking at the clock, and maybe we have time for just one single sentence, if you want to provide in terms of message that you want to convey to the audience. Maybe Thomas, you have one key message that you want the audience not to forget about IMX.
Okay, people have not prepared us up front for this. No, but I will do the topic. Respect and trust what is ongoing on an international way. Look and we have joint visions and implement this together.
Thank you.
We're big believers in the shift of mindset. In the same way that 3 decades ago, safety and quality and continuous improvement became part of our mindset as manufacturing organizations around the world, we believe smart manufacturing and this notion of collaboration, open specifications, openness in general has to become part of that smart manufacturing mindset, that it's not only a use case centric initiative, that it becomes a way of thinking for our manufacturing operations.
So one word.
Yeah.
Anyway, I would say the federation is really important for us. Even though many the stakeholders or entity has a little bit different understanding or approach, but the difference may be the key of the next findings or the innovations. So I like emphasize the word federation.
Yeah, nice word. I don't know what to add. Maybe I think it's just fantastic what has been done in such a year. Mm-hmm. Like last year, we were having a meeting in a separate room almost, and here we are on the main stage. We have amazing booths showing state-of-the-art development regarding data space in industry. So it's going fast. So the thing I want to say is the team is amazing. I mean, the community is amazing. People like-minded, same mindset to really move forward in developing digitization in the manufacturing. So please join the bandwagon. Don't hesitate. Talk about it around it, and It's really open discussion. Go to your national association, you go to your local leader, and you are very welcome to join us. Everyone is welcome to join the train. Yeah.
Okay. So thank you, Jean-Pascal, and thank you, Nakashima-san. Thank you, Yondik. Thank you, Thomas Hahn. And it is clear, and I think, Thomas, you started the presentation, no country can do it alone, no company can do it alone. And I hope for the audience here today, it is clear that no company, no country is alone in this endeavor. And we are all joined in this effort that is absolutely necessary if we want to make data work at global stage. And I would really like to conclude just maybe showing the appreciation for the members of the panel for their contributions. So thank you for attending, and thank you for participating in the panel.
Many thanks.